All right, let's see what we got.
Okay, now the thing switched to live, so the live sign is on.
Okay.
Let me go on here. Okay, now the thing switched to live, so the live you can hear me too. Okay.
Are you able to hop on?
Yeah, I'm on.
Oh, you are on.
You can't hear me coming through your computer?
Oh, okay. I can hear you on the phone. Gotcha. All righty. All right, I'm going to go ahead and log off here, and I'm going to go ahead and redo it for those of you who are watching. I've been having some technical difficulties. It sounds like I did the live stream and it didn't present live for some reason. So let's go ahead and try this again. So give me just 1 second. Okay. So for those of you who are watching this live, sorry that I'm about 30 minutes late. I went ahead and went through the live stream, and then I wasn't able to get it to go live for some reason, but I thought I was live the whole time. But now I can see it looks like there's 7 of us here on this live stream. So thank you guys for your patience. And let's go ahead and get into what are going to be some of the things that are going to be delaying any type of Porsche models here in the near future and here at the moment. So I got a little slideshow here for us. I'm going to go ahead and go through it. As you can see, we got this super cool GG3 RS here in the background. For those of you who are maybe interested in that car, most US dealers are now getting their allocations for that car. So if you are interested in that car, again, try to contact your local Porsche store and see if that's something you can order. Most likely there is going to be a market adjustment on there. So I know a lot of us don't like that, but unfortunately, that's just kind of the market we're in. So let's go ahead and start going through my slides I have prepared for us. I don't like really wordy slides, but I'm going to go ahead and do this most wordy slide of the night, which is what kind of terminology are we going to be talking about in tonight's live stream. So we've got factory retrofit, which is where as the car comes off the line, Porsche is able to do a retrofit and add the part into your local car before it even leaves the production line or the factory. We got a port retrofit. As soon as the car gets to a port, the port there, they have like technicians or people that work for Porsche that can then add parts in at the port, almost like a local Porsche dealer technician. We also have a dealer retrofit. A lot of times that ends up becoming a campaign or even a stop sale. Now, a stop sale is something that as soon as the car comes into the local Porsche store, it maybe doesn't have a part and can then not be sold to the consumer. So that's something that's affecting a lot of the Porsche models here for one part in particular that you guys will be seeing here in this slideshow. And then we've also got a what's called the production delay. So maybe Porsche isn't getting particular chips and they cannot install certain parts at the factory. So they just go ahead and push the cars through, send them to the dealer, and then we end up installing them a little bit later. So that's kind of just any of the terminology we may be discussing here tonight. So I just want to give you guys a quick and brief overview. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the next slide here. So I'm sure maybe some of you have heard that there was a strike at a local or at the port of Emden. So it was hard for us to be getting some of the cars for a very short period of time at any of our local Porsche stores. So Porsche has tried to increase, along with Volkswagen, to get more vessels so we can get these cars here to the United States as quick as possible to try to help with any type of backlog that came to be because of the workers striking at that port in Germany. So that's something that Porsche is trying to do to try to help us out. First car we're going to be talking about tonight is the 718. We got a really cool 718 GT4 RS there on the back of this screen. So let's go and just dive right into it. So the first thing that it would delay a 718 here at the moment is if you were to order Frozen Berry Metallic. That was a color that was added a couple years ago. And now this is something you cannot order for the time being. Not sure when this is going to be coming back here to us. But right now you cannot get it. And you can also spot something here in this screen that is also going to be an order stop for all Porsche models. And that has to do with the headlights that we'll be talking about here in a moment. Paint to sample is something that is currently on order stop for the 718 models. Hopefully it's going to be coming back at the beginning of 2023. So go ahead and be on the lookout for that. We got this really cool 718 Spyder here in a paint to sample color. Any of the leather or two-tone leather with race text has been delayed up to 4 weeks. It's not that you won't be able to order this on your 718, but if you order that, any of those interiors, it may be delayed up to 4 weeks. It could be to where it's not delayed at all, but just want to give you guys as much information as possible. The leather interior black over Lexer beige, that is currently not available, or what we call an order stop. I want to take a quick moment to talk maybe about what is exactly order stop. Order stop is if you had a Porsche build code that had this particular interior on the build and you submit it to your Porsche store, they're going to tell you based on the current allocation month that this particular 718 is, this is something that we cannot order for you, and you're going to have to change the interior color or maybe even just wait on your build and maybe rescind your build and submit it to your Porsche dealer at a later date to see if that interior were to come back, and this is one of those cases. We have the LED headlights, PDLS Plus, so it looks really cool. It's got this 4-point headlight. That is on order stop across all Porsche 718s here at the moment, from 718 all the way up to a GT4 RS. So Cayman, all the way up to GT4 RS, something we cannot order here at the moment. No Bose surround sound. So this is going to be a theme here across a lot of the Porsche models, and this is the Cayman and Boxster T all the way up to S is no different. Porsche's having trouble getting the amplifiers for the Bose surround sound systems across all the Porsche model lines, and that is what is plaguing us here with the 718. Now on to the 911. I don't want to spend too much time on this because I want to discuss a lot of this later, so that's why I'm kind of zipping through some of these items, and we'll discuss them towards the end of this live stream. So we have that cool America edition there on the 911. Not too many of those you're going to spot, but hopefully for those of you who are 911 and Porsche lovers, we'll see those at our local Porsche stores at some point. Paint to sample is currently being delayed up to 4 weeks. If you're ordering a paint to sample Porsche, you need to have a little bit longer lead time anyways to order those vehicles. You can't like submit it right before Porsche, what's called freezes that particular vehicle. But paint to sample is currently being delayed up to 4 weeks on the 911. Got that really cool maritime blue 992 GT3, as you can see there on the screen. Sorry, this is a little hard to see, but we got leather interior, race tech, sport techs. Those interiors are being delayed potentially up to 4 weeks. An example would be the GTS interior package that I'm showing here on the screen. So that is something that could potentially be delayed just a little bit on 911 variants. We've got the Bose surround sound, again, currently not available on the 911. That goes for Carrera, Carrera T, Carrera 4. If you're ordering a Carrera S or higher, you can option the Bose surround sound. PCCB or Porsche ceramic composite brake is on order stop for Carrera all the way up to turbo, and this is in both the yellow as well as the black variants. So if you're going to get a Turbo S, GT3, GT3 RS, you can get the PCCBs, but here at the moment, this is something that is not something we can order on any of those other 911 variants. On to Macan. See what kind of delays we've got here. We got this really cool Python green Macan. And with this car has a couple things that are currently on order stop across that model line. So we'll go and get into it. PCCB is currently not available and has not been available here in the United States for quite some time. Reason being is there's too high of copper content on the Macan GTS PCCB brakes. So this is something that if you maybe were looking for on a Macan, It's not something you can order until Porsche lowers the copper content on that particular generation PCCB brake on the Macan. We also have the PSCB brake is going to be delayed up to 6 weeks starting in January 2023. This brake is standard on the Macan GTS. You can option it on a Macan, Macan T, or Macan S, but maybe expect a little bit of a delay if you are optioning the Porsche surface-coated brakes on your Macan. We got the 21-inch GT design wheel, by far my favorite wheel on a Macan. It's been currently not available or on order stop for quite some time. Pretty sad day about that. That's probably the coolest wheel, in my opinion, on a Macan. Miami Blue is currently on order stop. A lot of us like that color. It's been around for quite some time with the Porsche brand, but you currently cannot order that on a Macan. That also goes hand in hand with another really popular color on a Cayenne, which is chalk or crayon. That is no longer available, as well as the Cayenne's actually built in Slovakia, and it's at a different factory that is with Volkswagen. So not too many of us are happy about that, I know. So hopefully chalk will be coming back to the Cayenne at some point, as well as Miami Blue for the Macan. Bose surround sound, order stop on all Macan variants. You can still get the Burmeister sound system, but again, we're having trouble getting the amplifiers for the Bose surround sound system, and a lot of Porsche dealers currently have a lot of Macans sitting there waiting for the amplifiers, and we don't know exactly when these amplifiers are going to be delivered. So a lot of Porsche merchandise at a lot of Porsche stores that are not available for sale at the moment. On to Taycan. It's been a very popular model for us. The Taycan could be delayed in the rear-wheel drive variant if you're ordering a car up to a year at some Porsche stores, as it's been very, very popular, especially with the ever-increasing gas prices. Although they're coming down a little bit, but that's been on the rise. So let's go ahead and talk about some of the delays. We got the PCCB brakes are currently not available on the Taycan all the way through the Taycan Turbo. If you're getting a Turbo S, you can get the Porsche ceramic composite brakes. We got, of course, this is a Turbo S. We got that Mission-y wheel, which I think looks awesome. The fixed variable light control, haven't had a chance to see this yet. Maybe some of you have seen it. Very, very cool. You can open and close certain sections of your fixed panoramic roof glass. This is currently not available from September to December allocation. So if you get a Porsche, if you get a build slot sometime January or anytime further, at the moment, this is something that you will then be able to add, as Porsche's having some issues getting some of the parts for this fixed variable light control roof. Again, we got the Bose surround sound. Sorry to be almost sounds like I'm beating a dead horse here, but Bose is currently not available on a couple Taycan models, Taycan and Taycan 4, which is a cross Turismo variant. If you get a 4S or higher, you can get Bose surround sound. Taycan electric sport sound is also delayed up to 8 weeks, with the exception of the Turbo S. A lot of us like that electric sport sound. It's pretty sweet. Gives it just a little bit more sense of speed as we're driving up these electric cars. A lot of electric cars don't have any sound, so it's kind of hard to judge how fast you're going, but I think this is a pretty sweet add. It's a little bit even deeper on the Taycan GTS. So got Cayenne. We've got a pretty short list here on the Cayenne as well as the Panamera, so we'll be wrapping up this slideshow here pretty soon, but we got this Cayenne. We got a really cool Turbo GT there. This got cut off for some reason, but the first thing on here is Bose surround sound on Cayenne as well as Cayenne S. We got these 22-inch GT design wheels, which are on this Turbo GT behind us. That's on order stop. PCCB brakes in yellow and black, with the exception of Turbo S and Cayenne Turbo GT. The LED headlights, PDLS, currently on stop sale. And then any type of leather interior could potentially be delayed up to 6 weeks. So those are just the delays that are plaguing the Cayenne here at the moment. Again, there's some really small things that are plaguing some of these models as well, but I didn't want to put everything on here, and maybe we can just have a discussion about it here towards the end. Then we've got the Panamera, and we'll see what kind of delays we've got. Nothing too crazy. Paint to sample is delayed through December. Ceramic composite brakes again. Bose on Panamera 4e hybrid. Electric steering column, which is something that delayed us for model year 2021, is also delaying the Panamera. here for the current moment. And then 4-zone climate control, that's a pretty big one that's being delayed here at the moment as well on the Panamera. So pretty much wraps up the overall little slideshow I've done. Looks like we're going to go ahead and open it up for a discussion. No mention of the Burmeister delays from Richard. Yes, I did not put that on there, but that is something that is certainly delaying the Cayenne and some of the other models as well. We're also having trouble getting the amplifiers for those, and not 100% sure as to when we'll be getting the amplifiers, which is a crazy big bummer. But Porsche, knowing Porsche, I think that they're trying to ship out these parts sometime late November and trying to get them to local Porsche stores, as Porsche wants to put as many sales on the board for the remaining of this year as they can. And the Burmeister is certainly delaying that, as well as Bose. So they're going to try to do everything they can to get these cars in the hands of the consumers. And there's a rumor, again, that they should be shipping some of these parts out end of November, beginning of December. It's just a matter of how quickly can the local Porsche store install these parts. So if you guys want to, again, we're just going to open this for discussion. So if you want to throw any other questions out there, we're going to answer as many as I can. If I can't answer the question, then I will try to find the answer for you guys. Joe's got a Cayenne that went into the body shop on 10/27, was supposed to have exited 11/4, but as of today is still there. So there has been certainly some production delays. Usually it takes about, you'll see from when it entered the body shop to when it is exited, usually takes about a week. I have had and seen some other Cayenne variants take up to 2 or 3 weeks in the body shop, or as it's being made. So it's possible that it's being delayed a little bit longer. If you don't mind, what kind of Cayenne did you order? Because the one I'm thinking of was a Cayenne e-hybrid, and it was stuck in that kind of section for quite some time. So I wouldn't be too alarmed yet, but that may be delaying your car just a little bit. Flat 6 rules. I like that channel name. Joined a little bit late. 992.2 not debut until next year. Yeah. So the models may be getting delayed a little bit because of these chip shortages, but 992.2 is set to be released at some point next year as for a model year 2024. That's what the current rumors are. So that's what we're expecting. It's not going to be a crazy big difference, but of course it's going to be more of a refresh. I'm going to be interested to see if it's going to be a hybrid. Porsche has talked about in the current generation 992 that we do have enough room to put electric motors and batteries in the current generation car. So I'll be interested to see if they already do that with 992.2. So I'm pretty excited about that. What is the timeline on Cayenne refresh? When can orders open on that? That's from Bert. So Cayenne refresh is going to be set for model year 24 as well. Typically when Porsche does a platinum edition or launches a platinum edition, that kind of means we're at the end of the current cycle. So I would expect for model year 2024, would be able to order those at your local Porsche store probably sometime late next year, probably September, October, somewhere in there. I would expect Porsche would launch the new Cayenne sometime mid next year, and then you'll be able to submit orders for it towards the end of next year. Joe, yep, e-hybrid. So that's kind of what I expected. Sweet car. Porsche doesn't make too many e-hybrids, but yeah, I've seen e-hybrids get delayed at the factory for at least a couple weeks. They typically don't go through the body shop or the factory quite as quickly. So I would expect hopefully within the next week and a half, you'll have some kind of update and it will no longer be in production. From Michael, he's actually a coworker. Why can't we take delivery of our Macan without the amp? That's a great question. So not only does it power the speakers, it also has quite a few functions inside the PCM with navigation and whatnot. So that's part of the reason we cannot take delivery of the Macan without the amp is, of course, we can't have any sound, but there's also some key navigation items that does not work because of the amp. Let's see here. We got another question. How long is the train to become Porsche qualified product specialist? It's going to kind of vary depending on each Porsche store. if you want to become like a Porsche Pro. But usually they send you through a series of trainings where you would go to a local Porsche experience center, and you kind of go through a couple day training where they kind of go Porsche A to Z, starting, with the early Porsche days all the way to current. And then you, of course, get some on the job training. But I would say kind of overall, month and a half, 2 months, kind of depends on where you're currently at with your Porsche knowledge. That would actually maybe be a good question. I would like if Michael could maybe pipe in. He used to be a Porsche Pro at a Porsche store, so it'd be nice if he could maybe pipe in and at least maybe leave a comment down below, or if you guys maybe can link up at some point, that'd be pretty cool. But like I said, probably a month to maybe 2 months. Shows V270 expected completion 11.4 LOL 2 weeks ago. It went into V270 on January of 23rd and then went back in the following week. So it sounds like they're maybe playing some tricks on you, Joe. They're kind of going back and forth. I would like to be updated on your order as soon as it kind of gets into V300 status. That would be nice, just to kind of know how long you've had to wait. But I'm really hoping it's sooner rather than later. Why does Porsche make 2 mid-cycle Macan updates? Was it to hide the fact the next Macan is behind schedule? Will the next Macan be EV only? That's a great question. It potentially could be. Yeah, usually Porsche doesn't do a double whammy, as I guess I want to call it, for the mid-cycle. But I think this is going to be the last ICE Macan, so they probably want to try to refresh it and hold on to it as long as they can, because the rumor is that the Macan EV and this current Macan are going to be sold kind of hand in hand. So maybe Porsche just is trying to stretch it out as much as they can, so they can be sold and we can have EV Macans and ICE or internal combustion Macans as long as possible. Wesley, e-hybrid. If you could maybe clarify a little bit more on that, what you're talking about. I'm not sure if you're just replying to Joe or if you had a question about a particular e-hybrid, or if it's maybe about the 992 we were talking about. Thanks for piping in, guys, about the Porsche Pro position and how long it takes to be trained on it. Last question. Can someone order from you and be given a courtesy delivery? Are you asking if you ordered it from a different Porsche store and if it could be delivered at maybe the Porsche store that I work at? Is that what you're asking? Flat 6 rules. I don't really talk about it too much, but I do work at a Porsche store. It's at Porsche Irvine. But yeah, if you maybe just could clarify if that's what you're asking. So again, if you guys have any questions, please throw them out there. I'll try to answer as many as I can. Again, sorry for this live stream starting late. This is the second time I did it. I did it once and nobody was online, but maybe there were some technical difficulties. Let me take this slide off of there. I put the Porsche Dakar here as our green screen in the background. I hope you guys are going to be watching the live broadcast next Thursday. It's going to be broadcasted at the LA Auto Show. I'm actually going to be going to that, so I'll try to get as much content for you guys as I can. Let's see. So my Cayenne was not allowed to order. Let's see. Thanks, Michael. I appreciate it. I try to, on all my build videos and any builds I do with anybody, I always try to tailor it to your guys' needs as much as possible. Because that's what's so cool about Porsche is we can dial it in as much as we can. Let's see. I have tons of questions, but can't remember many of them. That's okay. If you have a bunch of questions, just go ahead and send me an email at Pcarwhisperer, Pcarwhisperer@gmail.com, and I'll try to answer as many questions and try to help you. And if I can help you in any way, I will certainly do that because I love to spread Porsche passion, of course. Order with matrix LEDs, but still shows on Configurator on GTS. So yes, you can get it. It's more only for the higher trims, just as you're saying, lower trims no longer available. Cayenne, Cayenne S, Platinum editions, you cannot get it. But yes, GTS, Turbo, Turbo S, Turbo S, Turbo GT, you can still get those LED matrix, which I highly recommend. But yeah, so we could confirm that by just going to the configurator real quick, but that is currently something that's not available. Steven, do I have any more model build videos coming up on the channel? I do have plans to, of course, make more build videos. I've been having some requests to get Taycan, maybe another Taycan build video. Sounds like me keeping the build under 100K was maybe a fairly popular video, but do you have any suggestions or any videos, build videos that you'd like me to do? If you could go ahead and please put that in the comments, Steven, that'd be great. And I will try to film it as quick as I can and get it out there. I have a huge backlog of videos I need to film, but I'll try to push it to the front and try to get it out there as quick as I can. Gotcha. No worries. Well, I will look forward to your email about Porsche Pro questions, and I hope you have a good Friday night. Looks like we still have 17, 18 people online. Again, if you guys have any questions, I'll go ahead and leave it open for another 4 minutes. I'll go ahead and cut it off at 6:30. And again, I always try to answer all the emails as possible. So if it's not in here or in the comment of this video, I will try and answer the email if you guys just want to send me the email. So I'll go ahead and post that here. You guys haven't emailed me before. I think I talked about the live stream the first time I did this live stream. Again, I did it twice. I'm going to be having another giveaway coming up, so I'd love for you guys to be adding or being a part of that giveaway if you are so inclined. But that's going to be at 15,000 subscribers, so we have a little over 1,000 to go, and I have some pretty cool Porsche giveaways all planned for the future. Thank you, Richard. You have a great evening as well. Any delays on e-hybrid? I'd like to update my model year 2019 from Wesley. So yes, I was actually talking about that briefly with Joe. Porsche doesn't make very many e-hybrid Cayennes, even though it's a super popular model. I'd probably say Porsche stores between a standard Cayenne and Cayenne e-hybrid, it's probably like 1 or 2 to 10, so they don't get very many. But if you're thinking about ordering another Cayenne, I'd probably hold off until next year, as that's when Porsche should be releasing the refresh to the E3 Cayenne. So hopefully that answers your question, Wesley, but I would try to hold out as long as you can, because there's not a huge difference between your current 2019 and a 2023. A little bit differences to the PCM screen, the main screen there in the center console, but that's pretty much it. Could I order a vehicle from you and take delivery at my local dealer? I'd have to confirm. I've never done a courtesy delivery myself, but I could certainly try to make that happen. Or if not, maybe have the car shipped to a Porsche Experience Center. But it's all kind of up to the local dealer if they're willing to do a local courtesy delivery. That's kind of it's kind of a dealer by dealer basis. Of course, I would love to help you order a car, but it would just be up to them to see if they'd be willing to do that for us. From Eric, will the 2024 Cayenne be a major model refresh or just a midlife facelift? Will the GTS twin turbo V8 be sticking around for another few years? So it's expected to just be a facelift, not a major model refresh. And yes, the V8 should be sticking around for at least, on the GTS, we're probably looking at, of course, 2023. But if everything goes well and the new Cayenne's released for model year 2024, then the V8 on the GTS will probably not be available, as Porsche on new models sometimes doesn't release GTS right when it releases a refresh. So that'd be interesting to find out. But I don't think it's going to be a major refresh. It's just going to be a facelift, and the GTS may be available on the refresh at the start of the next model. So hopefully that kind of clarifies it, but I would hope that the GTS twin turbo V8 will be around for a couple more years until car goes to full electric. You guys have any other Porsche questions? I love answering as many questions as I can, of course, to get to know you guys better, but also share our Porsche passion. So looks like there's still 19 of us online, so I'll keep it up for a little bit longer. Thinking of also adding a Taycan 4 or 4S Cross Turismo. Rear wheel steer in particular. Okay. Thank you for your question again, Joe. I love the Cross Turismo, so if you could try to order one of those, would love it. And if you want, I can put a build together for you. So maybe we can talk about that if you want to maybe send me an email. But thoughts that I would think would be critical. Rear wheel steering, I guess it depends on how you're going to be using the car. With the Taycan having such great weight distribution, I don't think it's quite as necessary on the Taycan. You can feel it when you're driving like let's say a Turbo S Taycan, but I don't think it's quite as necessary, as the weight distribution is almost perfect 50-50, so you can really get around the corners pretty well. Of course, if you're doing tight turns and whatnot, rear wheel steer will be helping significantly, but I don't think it's absolutely necessary to do that. So hopefully that answers your question, but I would certainly try to do a Cross Turismo if you can. They don't make as many of those either, but I think it's such a sweet car. But yeah, I would think if you want, let's see if I'll pull up. I'll just go through a couple of things here real quick. Let's see if I can do this. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm going to try to share my screen with you. So give me just 1 second and we can maybe see if it'll work. Okay, looks like we got it to work. So we can just go through this really fast. Again, if you want me to kind of do a personal build, I can certainly help you with that. My favorite wheel by far is this Cross Turismo design wheel. So I like that. Interiors, I'll skip that because there's no necessarily need to know options on there. Premium package, I would say yes, I would add that. So again, this is what it shows you. You know, surround view I think is pretty nice on Taycan. Standard Taycan backup camera, isn't that great? Power folding mirrors, ambient lighting, and then we've got the mixture of headlights. Don't necessarily think you have to get the matrix headlights, seat ventilation. I'd go 14-way seats if I were you. Technology package, don't think it's necessarily a must. I would probably stick with just lane change assist. Off-road design, of course, it adds the cool iron cladding and whatnot around the car. 2+1 roof rail. Sorry, I'm going through this so quick, but I just want to maybe double check and make sure I'm getting everything we can. Sports chrono, I think so. I'd probably do that on a Taycan. PDCC kind of depends on how you're using it. There's your rear axle steering. Ceramic coated brakes, not necessary. I mean, they do last longer, have less brake dust. Yeah, so sorry I'm zipping through that so quick, but I wouldn't say, but besides premium package and a couple of those items, I probably may stick away from them. But again, it's all going to depend on how you're using the car. So hopefully that helps. Let me go ahead and get off this guy. Okay, sorry. Charlie, do you think Porsche will be able to fulfill a 718 GTS? I think so. It depends on how many your local Porsche store has. But I think they should be able to fill it, especially if you do what's called order demand, which means that local Porsche store doesn't have an allocation, but at least you have them put it in the system and it tells Porsche, hey, we got a guy, that wants that car. So I would say, I would think so. I would put it in sooner rather than later, but probably would be delivery sometime next year. Ooh, Joe, that car would be replacing 997 Turbo S. Nice. Love it. That's a sweet car as well. You're welcome, Wesley. Of course, Joe, anytime. Again, you can always send me emails and I'll try to do it as much as I can. Wow. List is 20 long for 718 GTS. That is that's a pretty long list, Charlie. If you want, you can contact me. I can try to get you a car. And do everything I can to try to help you get it, because that's a pretty significant list. I think at local Porsche stores around here, maybe there's 2 or 3 on the list. So it's maybe not quite as long. I'd be curious to see what market you're in. What is your best bet on allocation on LMGs that was ordered this past summer in Toronto, Canada? In terms of like delivery time, or I would guess if we're talking about delivery time, I would think if you ordered it in the summer, you'd probably be receiving it sometime the end of this year, beginning of next year. Just depends if the car was actually an order or if your local dealer didn't have any allocations and it was just an order demand. So I'd be curious to find out about that. But I would expect, if you're to order one now, you'd probably be getting it sometime March-ish of next year. So I would think you'd be receiving the car here pretty soon if it was ordered in summer. Great question, HR Geek. I like that YouTube name, that handle name. So yes, there is a way to do it. It depends on what kind of status your car is. As soon as the car gets put into an order and you actually have an order slot and starts getting built and you have a freeze point, you just need to make sure that your local Porsche store has your most up-to-date email, so you can do something called Track My Dream, and then you'll be able to kind of see as it goes through each step, goes through the body shop, gets to the port in Germany, and then gets to you at your local Porsche store. So if you're not getting close to your freeze point or when the last time you can make any changes is, you may not be having any updates, or maybe Porsche hasn't sent you this Track My Dream link to create a Porsche ID and track your car. So if you haven't received that yet, I'd ask your salesman about getting a link for Track Your Dream so you can track the car. Maybe okay, got it. Sounds good, Charlie. Yeah, just go ahead and let me know on that. Can you get Sports Chrono after delivery on a Cross Turismo? Thanks for the question. You cannot add it after the fact. That option adds a physical clock onto the dash, and you cannot necessarily add that. And it also, of course, adds our little drive mode switch on the steering wheel. So it would have to be something that would have to be ordered at the factory and not after the fact. I put an order in Australia. Let's see what we got here. Would a higher spec car prioritize the allocation? It's possible. The higher the trim level car, the less allocations the Porsche store would get. So, for example, if we're talking, Taycan, they're going to get way more allocations for a Taycan opposed to Taycan GTS or even a Turbo or Turbo S. So it would probably help prioritize the allocation, but each trim level is going to be a different allocation. So it would just depend on how many cars they have kind of in their queue. So hopefully that's helpful. But I would say so. If you get a higher spec car, it'd be better. Sorry guys, we're getting some strange comments on here, so I want to get rid of them. Got it. Let's see. Oh, gotcha. 992. All right. Yeah. So, same kind of deal. PCCB issues from Eric. Hey, Eric, how are you? So there are PCCB issues. We talked about it a little bit in my slideshow. What model are you talking about, Eric? And I can bring it up. So I talked about PCCB issues for 911s all the way up to 911 Turbo. Macan. There's no PCCBs on Macan. We're having issues with that. 2023 911 GTS. Yes. So right now we're having issues with getting ceramic brakes on a 2023 911 GTS. So hopefully that order stop at some point will go away. Allocation for January 2023. Let me double check one thing. So give me just 1 second here. See if there's any changes between now and 2023. Sorry, guys, give me 1 second here. Yeah, so it looks like there's currently order stop on the car. So, or excuse me, for the ceramic brakes, which is certainly a bummer. Ruby Star Neo, you're having issues with that. Let me see what I've got here. Give me 1 second. Sorry, guys. Just give me 1 second. I want to pull up something here for Eric in terms of the PCCB issues. Of course, Ruby Star Neo. So did you already submit the build to your local Porsche store, Eric, and they're telling you that you can't get Ruby Star Neo? Is that what's going on? Gotcha. Let's see. Sorry, I'm just pulling up something I want to see about Ruby Star Neo. What's interesting is I'm not seeing that as a current issue in Porsche Cars North America's eyes for Ruby Star Neo. So I would maybe have them double check or have them check with their local sales rep through Porsche, because I'm seeing it would be okay. That's interesting. I have to do some research on that, because I'm not seeing that on my side. But of course, if they submitted it and then Porsche came back and said no, then maybe not. Chalk's a great color too. So either way, you're not losing, that's for sure. Charlie, good question. So he looks like you're looking for a 4-cylinder 718. Those are pretty hard. Those cars are hard to get. There's no denying that. I would say outlook on pre-owned. If you can get one that's certified pre-owned or CPO, that adds a significant benefit to you. That adds an additional 2 years, unlimited miles. So I would certainly try to get, if you can try to get an 18 or maybe even a 19 718 GTS, and try to get that certified pre-owned warranty and, you know, something with lower miles. But as you're saying, it certainly remains low inventory. Those cars don't come up very often. So, but again, just I would try to find one that's CPO. Carmine red is certainly an awesome color. That's for sure. That for 991.2, that tend to be a pretty popular color on a lot of GTSs. Was that? No problem, Charlie. Hope you have a good night. Again, if you need help in your search or have any questions for me, go ahead and send me an email. I want to take a moment to thank you guys for asking me all these questions, just because that kind of helps us. That just helps us enhance our Porsche passion and try to help you as much as I can. Okay, Eric, what's your opinion on the standard race text interior on the GTS versus the $4,500 race text interior upgrade? I would do the GTS. I love the way that the stitching looks. And if you're getting a chalk car with steel brakes, I'd try to do the red one. I think that's a pretty sweet looking car. I actually have it pulled up right here. So let me add this part to the live stream. So give me just 1 second here. So here we are. Yeah, I would do this if you're doing chalk on the outside for sure. It doesn't show that well here on the configurator, but with the red stitching, especially tiling in with the red brakes, if you're doing the chalk GTS, I think that's the right way to do it. Of course, black still looks totally fine. Don't get me wrong, but I think if you're open to doing the red, I would 100% do it. All right, guys, is that, oh. I went superior red on black crayon. Bordeaux red stitching. Let's see. That looks pretty sweet on chalk too, Sam. So again, I mean, in terms of, you know, some of these options, they're all kind of preference. But here, I'll show you my screen again. I think that looks pretty sweet. So chalk, there's our black with Bordeaux red. I think that looks pretty sweet on a GTS, again, on a chalk exterior. And for those of you who haven't seen my car configurator video, I'm going to here hopefully sometime next year, Porsche is going to be switching this car configurator to a newer generation car configurator. So that should hopefully help us build the cars and make it just look so much better. So you guys can always check my video out for that. But I think it's pretty sweet. Instead of having all this on the right-hand side, everything kind of moves with it and a lot of cool photos. So just hopefully that's good. Okay. That's a good idea, Eric. Could certainly do that as well. That will definitely save you some money. Let's actually do that. Let's talk about that real quick. So Eric's talking about that you can get the standard race techs with race tech seat centers, and then he's talking about doing deviated stitching, and that's going to save you on price point. So deviated stitching is going to be $36.50, and GTS interior package is $45.30. So it's almost about $1,000. So you can do that. So you would do this leather race tex interior in black, and then you could do that hack. That's a pretty cool hack, Eric. I've never thought about that. But that's pretty sweet. So I like that hack. Let's see here. Okay, Mark, looks like you got a question. Thoughts on long-term value boarding a GT3 RS without Visoc package? I think down the road, if you order a GT3 RS without the Visoc package, that it will, if there's other cars that have Visoc package, of course, those cars will be more expensive. But I think that just in terms of a value standpoint, I think when people are looking for GT3 RS, they're looking for the Visoc package. So in that case, I would probably say I would add it. I know it's, like $30K, so it's a decent amount. And if you're just driving it on the street, you're not going to really notice, much of a difference. But I think most people are probably going to add that option. So to have one that doesn't have it, I think in the long run, maybe selling the car could potentially hurt it, because it's going to be going up a bunch of cars that have it, even though, like I said, most people don't necessarily use those items or put that to the full potential. So I would try to do the Visoc package if you can. This looks like we're talking about the deviated stitching hack, and we're talking about how you lose the color on the tack. Eric's going to submit his build next week, and he gets an error. He can't do it. The deviated stitching it is. Awesome. Love it. All right, guys. I think we're probably, unless we have any other kind of last minute questions, we'll probably end this live session. I'm going to try to do these at least once a month, if not twice a month. I'm going to have a topic. We'll discuss the topic, and then we can have answer any other questions you guys have. So hope this was beneficial, talking about the delays and answering any questions that came up. So yeah, I really appreciate your guys' support. We just recently passed 2 million views, so thank you guys so much. And I've got a lot of cool stuff coming up on the next giveaway. So hope you guys all enjoy the rest of your Friday evening, and we'll see you guys in one of my next videos.